Our featured NIC Talk speaker is Loren Shook, President, Chief Executive Officer, and Chairman of Silverado. Mr. Shook's talk is Breaking Free, From the Prison of House to the Freedom of Home. Ladies and gentlemen, Loren Shook.
Where's home? Do you know where home is? You know, home could look like that. You know, our home could be there. You know, your home might be here. But where home is really isn't any of these homes in these photos. These are pictures of bricks and mortar. Whether this is in a rural setting, whether it's in a suburban setting or downtown urban setting, these are simply photos of bricks and mortar. Home is where you find people who love you and you love them. Home is where you find peace. Home is where you go to really find rest and relaxation and get away from it all. You know, home, you know, can look like that, but when memory impairing disease strikes, home changes. You know, home is no longer that picture, and my son is a first responder in Orange County, gets a 911 call, and he and his team run out to that home, go through that door, and this is what they see. This is what they see is really someone living alone at home with dementia. And that person living alone at home with dementia is in great despair. That person has got a lot of complexities to just manage in normal life of the aging process as it is, and then you throw in a memory impairing disease on top of that. One of our family members said to me recently, he said his father was mildly cognitively impaired and doing pretty well, and he just needed some help with the medications. You know, 4 to 6 prescription medications is kind of a standard that elderly people have. And so he organized all those meds for his dad, and he was gonna go over and visit his dad, and his dad said, well, you know, he took a look at how he was doing, because Dad wanted to please his son and show well. You know, when he looked at the medications, he saw that he was behind. He was behind 2 days, you know, a couple of days behind. So he thought about it. Wanting to please his son, he said, I'll just catch up. I'm gonna take them all right now. I'm gonna catch up, and he did. Well, the son got a call from the emergency room and was able to pick up his dad from the hospital, and he did okay, but the son learned a valuable lesson. Memory impairing diseases aren't just about loss of memory. Memory impairing diseases include loss of executive function, decision-making skills, where very dramatic results can happen with someone who looks like they're pretty well functioning but makes the wrong decision. There are over 800,000 people in the United States living alone at home today. This isn't just a problem in the US, though. Studies would indicate that there's more than 30% of those in the UK who have dementia living alone at home. This is a worldwide problem. And when someone is living with dementia, especially someone isolated at home, they become isolated. You know, they become paranoid frequently, almost routinely depressed, socially, you know, isolated in their own home, not interacting with other friends. You know, we've gone to those homes where the drapes are drawn, it's all dark. All of that is actually causing that disease process to progress at a faster pace. It is making that dementia worse. And, you know, it is a problem which I know my mother faced this. I lived this personally, being the adult son in California, mom and dad living in Arizona, Sun City. I'd call mom, I'd say, how's it going? Well, everything's great, you know, life, should have been a show. They were so good, it should have been a show, because everything was going so well. And, you know, but then my family, other family members over there, aunts and uncles, said, it's not going so well. So I went over and visited. My dad, the most gentle man in the world, had developed a cancerous tumor process that caused dementia, caused him to become very difficult. And, you know, you could say you could bring in home care and help with that. Well, not really, because those behaviors were so aggressive and so difficult, there was no hope. That was in the 80s. That was way before any of the services we had today. I grabbed my brother from Seattle, said, we're going out and finding Dad the best place, because Mom had already declined health-wise, lost sight in one eye, as many people taking care of their loved ones at home do. And they don't call out for help. She didn't want to bother me. She didn't want to bother my brother. So we found Dad the best nursing home. That was all that was available at the time. Loving people working within, at that point, a medical model. Today, we don't have to do that. Today, we have options. And options today are something that we've worked on at Silverado and developed a program called Nexus. And Nexus is Latin for connection. So we are connecting science with engagement. And these engagement activities are actually based in science that proves that it enhances people's cognitive skills. And it slows up progression of the disease. Now we know that is happening in our company's communities because we started measuring them as of January this year. We're using the Minty Mental State Exam. The MMSE is a commonly used tool throughout the country by professionals to score people's cognition. So it's a 0 to 30 range. 30 is best. 15 is a mid-stage disease individual, and you or I could see that that person has dementia. 20 to 30 is mildly cognitively impaired, and someone moving up into the 23, 24 zone, I can't tell they have dementia. You probably could, but a lot of times professionals need that information, other tests to show it. The best medication available today will get you an improvement of 0.8 to almost 2 points on the MMSE score, and that will happen for about 6 months. And then the benefits trail off. Now, there are some people that are getting benefits for up to 2 years, but these tools actually have benefits that don't trail off, that stay in place. There's no cost to them, and the side effects are quality of life. So let's use the medications for the best use we can, but when we move people in on this program, we score them when they come in, and we are seeing 4, 5, and 6 MMSE score point improvements. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if we could invent a drug today, if we could come out of here with one that scores that would produce a 4-point improvement on the MMSE scale, that's a multi-billion-dollar blockbuster drug. So this is drug-free. This is engagements. This is something we can all do. And so here's a lady. First pillar of the Nexus program is purposeful social engagement, meaningful purpose in life. She likes to sew. So she is sewing things for people and having a good time, and then she delivers them to others and gets joy out of that. Now, it is an activity for the person that person enjoys, so it's individualized. The second pillar is relaxation, something we're not getting a lot at this conference. We're not getting a lot of relaxation here today. But, we use Tai Chi, we use meditation techniques. Yoga is a good tool for relaxation and exercise. You don't have to do this in the community. You can go to the beach. Here's our residence at Doheny State Park, because why not enjoy the view? Greater opportunities here. The third pillar would be exercise. And now our residents aren't going to get on the elliptical like you and I do. Why? Because it's too boring. Have you noticed? It's too boring. So they're not doing it. And so we got to create games for them that's fun. So here they are doing hockey. Now what we've learned is when we take this program of the hockey thing, into Chicago and our communities there, that goalie person's got to have a mask and a headgear. And when the guys get going, full body armor is not over the top. Trust me. But the guy over there playing ping pong, the super great activity. The net gets in the way for me. I don't know about you. So we've learned at Silverado for the CEO, just take the net off, and everyone has a good time. Cognitive exercises are very important. Went into a community recently, and the residents were playing with Jeopardy. And they told me real Jeopardy questions, Loren, real Jeopardy, with the buzzers and everything, having a blast. Specialized digital programming. Some of them work well, and we've ferreted out those, and we're using them. And helps people's cognition scores. And you'll note here that this lady is getting a little intergenerational assist, right? Well, you might think that's cheating. But if you look a little deeper into the photo, you'll see there's other intergenerational assists going on in that room. So we think it's cheating for sure, but it's balanced, so it's okay, it's fair. They're all having a good time. Lastly, group therapy. Who would do group therapy, support groups with people who have dementia? Well, we learned that is a very powerful tool, and we do, and very meaningful for these individuals. People we originally started with the program taking people on the 20 to 30 range in the MMSE. With the increase of 4 to 6 points being so powerful, our staff said, let's bring in the mid-stage disease, the 15s, the ones that you and I can see have memory impairment. And those people are going in and they're raising their scores up to 19 and 20, where it's really hard to tell. What a quality of life improvement. My takeaway for you is I hope that you go away recognizing, I mean, where home is really important. We all want to live and die in that great home that we live in today. But when memory impairing disease strikes, that is not the place to be. You don't have the social support, you don't have the engagement, you don't have the safety. Don't let people live in fear. In 2026, I hope that we come to the conclusion that no longer is that even a discussion point. It'll be, of course, the moving into something that's working well, or bringing in home care that's really working well, that can achieve these outcomes. You know, and otherwise, you know, I'll tell you, I wished this was here for my dad. That would have been oh so cool. But it's here for you, your loved ones, and for the people we serve today. So, you know, if we're operators, are we taking advantage of these tools? Let's re-examine what we're doing, and if there's anything to take away to benefit our programs, let's do it. Why not? If we're financiers, if you're financing operators out there, ask the questions. Do the group that you are financing, do they have these kinds of programs in place, and what are their outcomes? And you know, the other takeaway is, if you have your own loved one who is today, you know, suffering from a memory impairing disease, let's make sure that the programs, be it at home or in a community, are meeting these standards. And lastly, Alzheimer's disease is well known to be in progress in the brain for 10 years or so before any symptoms show. While these programs reverse the decline of these people's cognition levels, they're not curing anyone. There is going to be no cure, or the experts tell us, for the next 10 years. So that these programs actually are protective and slow up the disease progress for people who have dementia. They're protective for those of us who may be destined to get Alzheimer's disease, but symptoms aren't there. So let's use it for our benefits too. Thank you.